Pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 as amended, several Port Council members, including Mr. Salito, Mr. Lowell, Mr. Cahill, and Mr. Munier, are doing this by Zoom, and Mr. Brault is in person. Participating remotely in today's meeting because of their physical attendance today would be unreasonably difficult. All Port Council members in attendance and all members participating in the meeting by the Zoom video conferencing app will be clearly audible to each other. As a result of members' remote participation in this meeting, any and all votes taken by the members today shall be by roll call vote. I would also like to inform everyone that Sean Driscoll, the authority's communication director, is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. Is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself.
Sam.
Hi there. Sam Howden here. Family Times.
Hey, Sam.
Anyone else, Sean?
No, that's all I see.
If you are joining virtually, please press the raise your hand icon on the Zoom dashboard, or if you are joining by phone, by pressing *9 on your keyboard, excuse me. And when you are recognized, please state your name for the record. Thank you. And I'll call the meeting to order. Number one, approval of the minutes of the August 1st, 2023 public meeting, meeting in public session.
Motion
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Mr. Lowell,
Aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Brault,
Aye.
Mr. Munier,
Aye.
Mr. Salito, aye. Second, approval of the minutes of September 12th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Motion to, go ahead.
Motion to approve, motion a second?
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Cahill.
I just noticed that I think it was Mr. Reese and Mr. Lowell, their percentage of evaluation for Mr. Davis was not posted in the minutes. I could be wrong about that, but I didn't see it.
I thought it was, and I did text Sean about one tiny correction.
Yeah, I made that one, Nat. If they're not listed in there, John, I can revise them to include it, but I'm not looking at it at this moment.
Yeah.
Could you tell us now, and that would probably, we could add it to the minutes? If that's correct?
You see it.
That's a, I'll make that motion
Do I have a
with that
second?
correction.
1, 2, 3, 4. I thought that I did, but I don't.
Yeah, I think they're all in there.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all in there, John.
All right, my mistake. Sorry.
All right, with the corrections that that Mr. Lowell had made, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion
We already had the motion to
Do
approve.
I have a
it.
second? I don't think
We did have a second, Mr. Lowell.
We did, okay.
seconded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Lowell,
Aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Brault,
Aye.
Mr. Munier,
Munier, aye.
Salito, aye. Thank you. Mr. Davis?
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd request that we take out of order, if we can move the treasurer's report up earlier. If the Port Council can indulge us in that, so that way Mr. Rosen has a grants thing to attend to. So
We'd be happy to accommodate Mr. Rosen. Treasurer's Report A, business summary for the month of August 2023.
Thank you very much for accommodating me. I appreciate it. Okay, Sean can pull it up on the screen. Okay, so the business summary for the month of August. Yep. Passengers carried, on the Vineyard route, we're down 1.9% or 6,355 passengers. On the Nantucket route, we're down 13.6%. We're just under 12,500 passengers. Both routes combined for the month of August, we're down 4.4% or 18,854 passengers. Year to date, both routes combined are up 1.1% or 21,636 passengers. Want to put in context that August, and we'll see that coming through in September, the weather wasn't cooperative. We had this year we had 13 days of rain compared to 8 last year, and not only is it the quantity, but also the of days with the quantity. So it was really some severe weather we've had for affecting the foot traffic. Here's a graph showing the passengers carried by month and by so. Vehicles carried on the Vineyard route. This is for passenger vehicles. We're down 2.1% or 1,218 passengers. The excursion fare vehicles are up, where the standard fare autos were down. On the Nantucket route, we're up 4.2% or 461 vehicles. Both routes combined were down 1.1% or 757 passenger vehicles. Year to date, we're up 1,104 passenger vehicles or 0.3% for both routes combined. Here's the monthly breakdown comparison from last year to this year for passenger vehicles. And keep in mind, all these vehicle statistics are one way. Freight traffic on the Vineyard route was up 0.9% or 59 vehicles. The Nantucket was down 151 freight vehicles or 4.2%. And total trucks were down 92 vehicles or 0.9%. Year to date, we're up 3.7% or 2,452 vehicles. And you can see on the Nantucket route, with the trucks being down, that's why the automobiles were up, where that truck space was available for car space. And here's the monthly comparison. Here's the average vehicles per trip in each direction. The blue is the, this is for all 7 days, is the Woods Hole cars. The orange is the trucks leaving Woods Hole. The green is the cars leaving the Vineyard, and the yellow is the trucks leaving the Vineyard. Here's the weekday trucks in the same patterns we've seen before, where the trucks are Woods Hole in the morning and then coming back from the Vineyard in the afternoon. And on the weekend, similar pattern, but significantly less volume. Cars parked for the month of August, pretty similar to what we saw for the passengers. On the Vineyard route, we're down 3.6% or 886 vehicles. The Nantucket was down 21.1%. And both routes combined were down 7.2% at 2,208 vehicles parked. Year to date, we're up 0.8% or 963 vehicles. Here's the monthly comparison. Trip summary report. So for the month of August, we had 26 trips on the Vineyard route canceled for mechanical, 0 for weather, 4 for traffic, and 14 for crewing. On the Nantucket route, we had 2 mechanical, 0 weather, 0 traffic, and 64 for crewing. Year to date, that brings a total of 97 mechanical trips canceled, 116 for weather, 162 for traffic, and 262 for crewing. The purple percentage is showing this year's percentage, and the green is last year's percentage, as requested at last month's Port Council meeting, as a comparison to how we're doing compared to the previous year. Okay, financial snapshot. Operating revenue, we're at $19,766,000, which was lower than budget by about $49,000. Operating expenses of $11,114,000 was lower than budget by $711,000. Putting that together with the other income and the income deductions, we get a net income of $9,482,000, which was higher than budget by $1,303,000. Year to date, we have a net operating income of $18,456,000, which is higher than budget by $8.9 million. Operating revenues, here we can see the automobile revenue is down 681,000 or 8.3%, compared to budget. You see the passenger revenue is up, but that's where the budget figures are using 2021 actual traffic compared to 2022. So putting this together, we have the monthly operating revenue down 49,000, but year to date, we're up 232,000 or 0.2%. Here's the breakdown of where the revenues come from, both for the month of August and year to date. Operating expenses, fuel was down 107,000 or 6%. We averaged $3.72 a gallon versus $3.87. Year to date, we're down 1.7 million or 18.8%. We budgeted for $3.97. We're at $3.30 right now. Here's a breakdown of the operating expenses for the month as well as for the year to date. Passengers carried, all categories across the board were down for the month. The Vineyard being down 6.1%, Nantucket down 14.5%, and year to date, total for both routes combined are down 8%. Year to date, we're down 0.2% or 3,951 passengers through September. And here's the vehicles carried. All categories were down in the month of September. The Vineyard route was down 5.5% or 5,323 vehicles. And the Nantucket route was down 5.5% or 718 vehicles. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Mark, it's Joe.
Yep.
On the excursions, are the excursions up for the summer? Leaving the
Yes, they are. The excursions are up for the summer and also up for the year.
Is that unusual that they be up for the summer?
You're comparing to where we're getting past what COVID is. So we're balancing out with the standard fares. So people's travel habits and work going back in the office is back to more normal. So we're seeing those percentages get back to more historical numbers.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? So as we go to the I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mark, the August operating revenue shows a $3 million other revenue number year to date variance.
Give me a second.
Can you explain that?
Sure, give me 1 second to get to that sheet. I mean the which category are you talking about? Other income?
Other income.
All right, so that's up 535,000, and that's really interest. You got the license fees and the interest income there. So originally we were budgeting, we weren't expecting to have interest rates in the getting interest income from our investments in over 5%, and that's the big driver on that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll go on to the B 2024 proposed operating budget.
Thank you. And Courtney will be taking over the operating budget. And before we start, just to give a little background, we had two open houses on September 27th, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. The morning session, we had 4 people attend, and 2 were associated with the Steamship Authority and 2 were for the general public. And we had no attendees in the afternoon session, and we received no questions or comments. Okay, so the 2024 operating budget assumptions, as previously, with previous budgets, we're using the prior 12 months, which is August 2022 to July 2023, for the baseline for the revenue using the traffic statistics. We're expecting fuel costs to decrease by 1.8 million or 14%. We're budgeting $3.35 a gallon versus last year's budget of $3.93. Inflation during from July to July was up 3.2%. And the operating budget on the expense side is based, and also on the revenue side, is based on the 2024 approved operating schedule. And with that, Courtney will go through the operating budget.
The 2024 budget has operating revenues of 137.7 million and operating expenses of 137.6 million. Other income totals 9.9 million, while other expenses total 4.2 million for a bottom line of just under 6 million. Significant operating expense changes, budget versus budget for 2024 are increases to training totaling 348,000. This increase is due to the licensed deck officer training program, crew familiarization training, in addition to our normal training schedule. Next, we have an increase in our insurance expense of more than 381,000. Operation of terminals has an increase of 935,000. This is primarily due to an increase in utility costs. General expense is an increase of 2 million. This number includes the 348,000 for training that we've already highlighted, in addition to increases in pension, health, and welfare. Maintenance expense increase of 3.1 million, and we have more about that on the next slide. 2024's maintenance budget includes the dry docking of 4 vessels at a total cost of just over 6 million. Next year, the Nantucket, the Eagle, the Island Home, and the Hyannis will all be dry docked. The maintenance expense budgeted for terminals, dolphins, and docks totals 3.9 million. Projects include siding and trim replacement to the terminal in Hyannis, as well as design and engineering to the pump out system at that location. In Vineyard Haven, there will be repairs to the slips, and pier decking repairs have been budgeted in Oak Bluffs. Here we are showing operating revenue variances between the 2024 and 2023 budgets. Passenger revenue is up 1.5 million or 4.4%. Parking revenue is up 26,000 or 0.3%. Freight revenue is up 289,000 or 0.7%. And auto revenue is down 1.6 million or 3.6%. The increase in passenger revenue in the 2024 budget is due to the 2023 budget using 5 months of 21 traffic statistics, which we know is still part of COVID. The decrease in auto revenue is due to the overall quantity of vehicles traveling, in addition to a decrease in the number of standard fare vehicles traveling versus the number of excursion fare vehicles. This graph shows the 2024 budgeted net income by month. As you can see, we operated a deficit for the first 4 months of the year, make money May through October, and lose money again in the months of November and December. The cumulative net income line shows that we have our largest cumulative net loss in April at about 16 million. We have a maximum net income of 13 million in October before settling at a net income of the year of just under 6 million. And with that, Mark or I will answer any questions you may have.
Do you have any questions? Yeah, go ahead, bud.
I just had a couple questions on the work. Do you guys do a workshop for like the port council or for the authority on the budget? Or are we just gonna do like talks at these meetings and the handouts that come on electronically? I find it very difficult. I mean, I've done budgets in the past, but it's difficult to try to figure out what's going on. And also, and I would really appreciate a printed copy before the workshop. So I don't know if you do that or not, I would like to find out.
No, we, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Bob. Go ahead, Bob.
So typically in the past, we had not. If any board members or board council members would like us to do so, we can work it in. I know Mark, Courtney, and the rest of the accounting team had their hands full putting together the budget as it's always a hectic time of year to be trying to put it together, but be more than happy to sit down with any board member or board council member that would like us to walk through it any.
I would appreciate it.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion, Bob. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? John, you're muted.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just curious, how did we get to the number on the automobile expense down 1.6 million?
The revenue? Yep,
I'm
so
sorry.
so we're looking at where it's really coming from is the August 2021, in the last 5 months, where 2021, the standard fares were up compared to the excursion fares. And in 2022, we're seeing that reversal. And then we just saw in the month of August, we were down, in automobile revenue as well. So that's where it's just the changing of the traffic patterns. In the passenger revenue, we're seeing the opposite, where the fast ferry was gaining momentum compared to in 2022 compared to 2021.
Okay, and then one more follow-up, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Good, yes, John.
Is the maintenance line, is that typical that we're gonna have that much of an increase? Is that an average maintenance over the number of years, or how did we get at that number?
The maintenance,
A large increase.
yeah, so the maintenance, it depends which vessels are going into the dry dock primarily and what type of work's going. So for instance, the Island Home's going in this year, and off the top of my head, and Courtney, correct me if I'm wrong, the dry dock, I think is estimated around $2 million in the budget with repairs. We also have some work at the terminals as well that we're expecting. Vineyard Haven has some slip work both in January and February, as well as in November, December. And off the top of my head, that's about 1.6 million there. So it depends really what the projects that are coming on board.
Thank you.
And if I may add to that, for next year's budget, there's only, typically we'd be having 5 vessels dry docked. But with the new vessels scheduled to arrive next season, it's only the 4 that are listed. So, that impacts the overall number there for the vessel dry docks.
And
Rob, you had your hand up?
Yeah, Mark, did you want to?
Yeah, and if I may also, we also accelerated about over $1 million in projects from 2024 into the 2023 the board meeting, engine parts and things of that nature, since we're ahead of budget this year.
Rob had it, not good, Rob.
Yeah, so you touched on the question I have, and that's it looks like there's going to be a surplus over the budgeted net income for 2023. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I guess right now it's almost 9 million. What philosophically, what happens with that money? And as you mentioned, there's some projects that maybe you accelerated because you have some extra cash now. Is there any way? In other words, I know where we're headed is a rate increase. Is there some way to soften the blow by use of that monies for some of these extraordinary expenses that are being identified for 2024?
So part of that, as I just mentioned, that we're accelerating projects that were originally budgeted for 2024 into 2023 to get that number down. Also, we're looking at the month of September. I'm expecting, based on the traffic numbers, I haven't seen the financials yet, we haven't finished those yet for the month, that to be a below budget to where we expected. So that'll get that number down as well. We expecting, based on our actuarial reports, to have last year we had a pension adjustment to that reduced our pension expense. We're expecting that, based on the market performance, to increase our pension expense this year over our actual contributions. With all that being said, any additional cash that comes through our monthly cash transfers would then flow through our normal cascading of funds, where first it goes to the sinking fund to pay the bonds, then it would go to the replacement fund, the reserve fund, and then the bond redemption fund. So any additional cash would go for future capital projects, if those were actual cash expense versus paper expenses.
Okay, thanks.
John, you had your hand up?
Yeah, just selfishly, the work that's going to be done in Tisbury, is there anything that we need to be aware of when you start that work, and when will it start?
Okay, I will. Mark Higgins, do you want to take that, or you want me to take that?
No, I'm fine to take that. With the Gallows support, we've put together a package, and so that'll be advertised. We're looking sometime after the first of the year to do that, and we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks to do that work.
Any impact on the town? I can't see any, but I just want to raise a question.
Yeah,
that south slip will be out of service during that time, so there will be an effect to the schedule during that time.
So we're not going to be able to berth 2 vessels overnight in Vineyard Haven once that work starts. So the freight boat, the container will end up having up the berth in Woods Hole, which means that the 5:30 a.m. Trip from Vineyard Haven won't be running during that time period.
Okay.
Nat,
Yes, Joe, thank you very much. Mark, this is more of just a observational. Back on my cars are parked in garages. So I know you guys read our sort of dust ups over here in your emails and your Nantucket current stuff and stuff from Monica. So the whole Turo thing never popped into my head at any of these meetings to bring up as part of some of this. So it just seems that there's going to be a continuous decrease in the single rate automobile, or at least a leveling of some kind soon, I hope. And I just think that everyone just needs to keep that in mind when we talk about things like removing trucks and other things with other ideas to take things off the boats that are guaranteed to be on the boats. Whereas this stuff, things can happen to reduce the number of one-way automobiles. It's kind of amazing. No one ever talked about this until recent years when we started losing the one-way cars because they're parked in garages now. But that whole renting a vehicle that's already on the island, parked already, never crossed my mind to bring up. So car rental agencies are bringing less vehicles to the islands because of this. So I just thought I'd throw that in. And always finding ways to fill gaps on existing trips is going to be one of the big solutions to our revenue loss for what makes the most profit.
And Nat, and following up on that, so in August, you're at capacity. So you can see we were down 151 freight vehicles, but we're up 461 passenger cars. The average freight vehicle is roughly size of 3 cars. So it's just moving different pieces in the puzzles. If the trucks go away, then it's going to be what type of car is filling it, or if the cars are there, so it's a zero-sum game for you guys in the summer right now.
Correct. And that's another whole conversation that's part of, a piece of this is there's good news because of the freight demand has replaced the cars, and because we're not going to be able to ever increase our number of trips a day, excuse me. And so there's good to it. I'm more talking about just keeping our eye on these things so it's a conversation that isn't where we don't have as many questions, kind of like what Bud brought up, having these individual conversations with management is really important to learn all this stuff. I don't need to have a meeting with you guys. I already talk to you all the time and I figure these things out, but it's important for everyone to know these things so that they can answer their own questions in some cases, because this is the reality that we have. And there's going to be more excursion demand because more year-round residents, people want to take their car on the boat, traveling, kids, stuff. It's just a shift in dynamics in a lot of areas. So thank you.
Okay. Mark, if I may, 2 things. First, I've been reading about the newspaper the last couple of days because of the problems in the Middle East. Do you think the price of fuel is going to go up, and should we anticipate that?
We are hedged for next year. We just executed the final hedges on Friday. We're at, I think, 3.3 million gallons of the 3.5 that we're budgeted for. So, I mean, that's our normal hedging. So we're there. So any price volatility, we're covered 95% of it. The only change that we would have, the fear I'd have, if there's more of a supply issue at the ports, where we had last year, where it was actually physical delivery versus hedging. In New Providence was the significantly higher price, about 70 cents in some cases per gallon than in New York. But other than that, we're pretty good shape for next year for the fuel.
And the other one is, of course, my privilege, the generator for the Oak Bluffs, is that included in that WAF repair
That'll be in the that'll be in the capital budget being presented later this year, but I already know they're working on it.
All right, thank you, I appreciate
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank
All
you,
right,
Mark.
then, thank you, Mike. Going on to proposed rate adjustments for 2024. Do we have to take a vote on this?
We can either do it
Mr. Keneally.
separately or all together.
It should
Mr.
do
Keneally.
it separate. It should be separate, Mark.
Okay.
Should be separate. Okay, on the proposed operating budget, do I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve?
Yes, please.
Second.
Second. Mr. Lowell,
Aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Burrell,
We all die.
and Mr. Murnia.
You're muted, Rob.
You're muted, Mr. Murnia.
Aye.
And Salito, aye. Thank you. Then going to the proposed rate adjustments for 2024.
Thank you. Okay, so why are the rate adjustments needed? We're seeing an increase in maintenance costs of about 3.1 million to 13.3%. We're estimating some of these dry dock cost out, internal maintenance expenses as far as 18 months out in advance. We have new repair items, we have additional steel work, and the overall age of the vessels does increase the cost of this. Training costs, we're increasing our training costs, as Courtney mentioned earlier, by 350,000 or 48.2%. This is two major drivers in these costs: the familiarization of the new vessels we have coming on board next year, as well as more training for the getting more officers on the boats. Insurance costs, we're expecting to increase of 380,000 or 7.9%. Here's a comparison of the maintenance expenses for the last 5 years. In blue is the amount we put for vessels, and yellow is the land side. Here's our budgeting training expenses over the last 5 years, and with the adoption of the SQMS, we can see the increases. So the bottom line, we're targeting a net operating revenue of just over 9 million. On the budget that was just approved, we have 5.8 million, which means we need about just under 3.2 million in additional revenue. 1.8 million would come from the Vineyard side, and just under 1.4 from the Nantucket route. Overall, this is a 2.3% adjustment, which is lower than what CPI is. So here's a graph showing the deck space utilization versus the revenue in 2020. So in this pattern, blue is the MV revenue, the solid blue is the MV spaces, the checkered red is the Nantucket revenue, and the solid red is the spaces. So we can see for the excursion fare vehicles on the Vineyard route, they occupy 27.6% of the spaces and account for 10% of the revenue, as compared to the passenger vehicles account for 62.2% of the revenue and 46.5% of the spaces.
Standard fare passenger vehicles.
On the passenger vehicles, yes. Okay, so here's the cost of service comparison, and I wanted to bring this up prior to going to the proposed adjustments to show the subtleties between the two routes and why we're making a recommendation a little different for each route. So on the Vineyard route, in 2022, the standard fare vehicles covered just under 133%. The excursion fares just under 36%, while the freight vehicles covered 106.5%. On the Nantucket route, the standard vehicles are just under 143%. The excursion vehicles are at 38.5%, while the freight trucks are at 82.3% last year. So the bottom line for all routes for the proposed rate adjustments, we're not recommending any changes to the passenger fares or the excursion fares. What we are recommending is the standard fares, about 2.4 million, freight vehicles, 700,000, and parking permits is 79,000. Okay, so on the Vineyard route, the standard fare vehicles, we're recommending a $2 on the one-way fare in the shoulder seasons. That would go from $98 to $100. And the shoulder season is from April 1st through May 14th and from September 15th to October 31st. And the peak summer season, which is from May 15th to September 4th, September 14th would be $9 on the Monday through Thursday and $10 on the Friday through Sunday. That means the standard fare car would go from $101 to $110 Monday through Thursday and $125 to $135 on the weekends. That would generate an estimated just under $1.7 million. The 10 ride auto books are a derivative of those prices. That would be going up $45. Parking permits in Woods Hole, recommending $75 in the year-round permit and $50 on the Palmer. And again, no changes to the passengers or excursion fares. Freight fare for Vineyard, we're not recommending any changes, nor to the daily fee parking. On the Nantucket route, recommending changing the standard fare vehicles, $15 Monday through Thursday, $25 on the weekend for the summer only, adjusting the 6-ride coupon book. Vehicles over 20 feet, the freight fares would go up 4%, and no adjustments to the passengers, excursion fares, daily fee, or parking. Here we can see where the proposed rate adjustments, the revenue generation would come from by category. So the standard fare was to generate 76% of the proposed rate adjustments, the freight 21%, and the parking permits 3%. Here's our budgeted net income by month and the cumulative net income. So even with the fare adjustments, we'd have a net operating loss for the first 4 months, which would aggregate to about 15.9 million. We'd have net operating income May through October, which we would top out at about just over 17 million. And then we'd have losses in November and December, and that would put us at our bottom line of about $9 million. Other administrative items that we want to clean up with this year's budget is changing the freight truck policy cancellation from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. the day before. It gives the freight operators a little more time to get a handle on what's going on for the next day. Looking at adjusting the shellfish and cranberry rates for the under 25-foot vehicles. Right now, they don't share in the same percentage of discounts that the larger vehicles do, and we want to match those vehicles to get the same discount that the 35-foot trucks are getting. And also adjusting the wharfage rate on Nantucket, the wharfage rate for all of our vessels. Right now, we charge $1 a foot, and at the low, looking at the other people charging $6, should be going to what market is on that price. And none of these are we expect to have any material impact on the budget. More administrative and fairness issues. And with that, I'd be happy, Courtney and I would be happy to answer the questions anyone has.
Any questions
Yes.
on that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mark, so is this gonna be fixed now? Like with this vote going to the board from this meeting, the 2 items?
So it would be in effect January 4th,
Oh.
2024.
That's what I meant. I mean, I didn't mean like 2 seconds from now. I meant, you know.
Yeah, so
I
the
meant
rates
next
will go in
year.
effect when they start traveling, when the schedule changes in January.
All right, so one of the things, I mean, I guess I could bring this up afterwards. I just don't want you to disappear, but sometimes these things get, I don't know, forgotten, or nobody knows, or 2 people know instead of 4 people. I don't know. But this thing with the shellfish, sea fish, whatever you want to call it, this is similar to what we just talked about with the trends that change. We're always never catching up to that. It's just natural. The town does the same thing. We haven't touched certain things for 40 years that are like way overdue. But in this particular case, we just had a front page article in Daybreak or Current about less commercial scallopers. So if we have a big scallop season, there isn't anyone to go scalloping. That type of business is changing. We had a problem last year with markets. So there's going to be smaller vehicles taking seafood off island to sell, you know, whether it's scallops, oysters, little nicks, whatever it is. So that is important to get this thing fixed for these people, because otherwise, I mean, it's just ridiculously expensive. So appreciate it, Mark, for doing that. And the cancellation thing is a no-brainer. That is the weirdest regulation I've ever seen in my life. I never even realized it existed till a year ago myself. So thank you for that too.
Any other questions? Rob?
Yeah, hi. So even though the overall net increase based on the rates is whatever you said, 3 point something, it is all concentrated in, you know, more or less the standard fare. So those increases are not 3%. Those are more like 10%.
Yes, they're greater. Yes, the overall increase on our revenue is 2.3%, but those fare increases are higher. They're probably 8 or 9% top of my head.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, I'm thinking back to your slide with the percentages of what percentage of the their costs were covered by each of the fares. And do we run the risk of, you know, shooting the golden goose there by making them so expensive that nobody wants to take the standard fare and they're going to do something else, whatever that might be, less cars, or you use excursions, or, you know, park and ride, or whatever.
No, anytime you have an adjustment, that's one thing you know, it's on your radar. Looking at last year's Head Start reservations, they were above what the year before's were, and we had an adjustment then as well. And then a lot of these vehicles are the weekly traveling vehicles in the summertime, the weekly rentals, and that $10 increment on their reservation each way, $20 overall, and the overall cost of their stay is a small percentage when you factor in the cost of a rental house, whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. There's another question, and is, did you, I'm sure it'd be a complicated problem, but did you ever go back and look at last year, which sounds like is going to generate, you know, excess of a surplus over the projected net income, what the impact of the rate increase last year was? In other words, if you had it or didn't have it, and how might you have made that analysis as to inform the one you're proposing this year?
So if you looked at the revenues that, you know, when I went over the business summary through the month of August, our revenue, operating revenue, we're at 96 million, Rob, just under, and we're only over budget by 232,000. So a lot of the over budget is on the cost side, as well as we have other income. We're ahead of budget on grant revenue, and as well as interest income. We didn't expect to have this high of a rate of return. So that's where a lot of the money's coming from. It's not coming from the revenue side, it's coming from the expense side, as well as the other income. So the expense side, we're down 4.9 million through 8 months, while the revenue is only up 232,000.
Okay, it's a good answer. Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. We'll take a vote. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion to
Approve the proposed rate adjustments?
Yeah, approve, yes, the 2024 rate adjustments and changes that Mark indicated.
Do I have a second?
Cahill will second.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lowell,
Aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Cahill, aye. Thank you,
Mr.
Mark.
Brault,
All time.
Mr. Munia,
Your aye.
and Solito, aye. Thank you, Mark. Good luck with your class.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for commenting. We appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah.
Going back up to the top of the agenda, the management report, Mr. Davis.
All right, so the first item is update on the website. So Stellar Elements team continues to work on various aspects of the new site. The most recent work was regarding parking permits, site search, giving the customers ability to edit their email addresses. They're reviewing gift card bugs, the mobile app development, There's also a security overview, content management system updates, as well as I said, the ongoing bug fixes. So they're currently working on gift card credit and gift card processing. Developers are working on finalizing security setups and the firewall configurations, and we continue to do internal testing as well. So at this point, where are we here? Yeah. So we expect within the next week here to be launching the internal beta site, which would be we need to launch that so that way we can get the Apple Store and the Google Play Store to approve the app. We'll also be going through that for acceptance testing, which includes financial review. So we'll be processing some reservations with credit cards and gift cards and the like to make sure that those are going through properly and the appropriate monies are being transferred where they need to be. So we do expect that later in the month that we'd be able to be opening up that site. We'll be scheduling some public information sessions on for both the Vineyard and the Nantucket in early November to coincide with the release. And I believe they're also working on some tutorial videos on what customers can expect with the new site. And with that, Stephen Coleman's here. If you have any questions.
Any questions from the board? John?
Just curious, how much money is left in the budget?
I think we're at 96%, so about 4% is left.
So a few 100,000 maybe?
Yeah, somewhere in that area. I don't have the exact number in front of me, sorry.
I think that'll be adequate for all the training and bugs that will come out of the initial launch. Like, should we expect any further expenses above the budget?
As I pointed out to the board, Stellar Elements has reconfigured their team. So we're confident that we're going to be able to move this forward with the existing budget.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. The IT review?
All right. Again, Stephen Coleman's here. He's been working with Gibbous on this. So starting next as we hold on.
You're good.
All right. So thus far, again, they go through our entire IT infrastructure and look for areas for improvement, and then also to provide us with a roadmap to go forward. Next. As pointed out before, there's been a number of activities that have taken place, back in June, kickoff and discovery. Next. They had some benchmarking, trying to determine who we should be benchmarked against. And they also were working with Stellar Elements on looking at the new website. Next. They had a survey that they launched earlier in the end of August and through September. That's been completed. They've been looking, as I mentioned, they continue. Gibbous has been looking at our security and our programming review. Next. Thus far here in October, the options criteria identification has taken place. There was a working session with the IT group. There's still some refinements that need to take place during that, and then start to assess what options we have going forward. And next. Then they'll have a draft report and then a final report, in December and January. Next. And thus far, out of the, spent, $105,000. I think the budget for this was, there's $104,000 remaining. It was $245,000 was the contract amount. Sorry, that column seems to be missing that number, so. We've spent $105,000 out of the $245,000 thus far.
Any questions? Yes, John.
Yeah, Bob, is there any early initial insights that they've come up with that you can share today?
I think well, and Stephen can jump in if he had anything, but I think at this point, there's a lot of, give and take back and forth with our team and the Givers team in terms of our architecture and our systems. Obviously, the website and the reservation and then the reservation systems are, focus of this. Not anything that we weren't already aware of in terms of some of these systems, and we're addressing the website with the new site, and then we'll have to be looking at the reservation system going forward and what's the best avenue to be taking in that regard. So,
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll go to item 3, the Martha's Vineyard MV Aquinnah and MV Barnstable status.
okay, and I think Mark is being brought over.
Are you doing the Aquinnah first?
The Aquinnah and Barnstable first, yes.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Give you an update on the projects. We're at a critical time now where this week on Wednesday, we'll be beginning to cut the mid-body out of the Barnstable, and the Aquinnah will be following that. Sean, next slide, please. This is both vessels are sitting side by side at Alabama Shipyard. Next slide. These are called tonnage bulkheads, and for the Barnstable, we're near completion of the main sections. We get some internals to do, but these are every few feet. These are to lower the GRT, or the gross registered tonnage, under 1,600 to be compatible with our manning licenses. Next. This week we get all the rudders down, and this is part of our general maintenance program that we have set up for that. Next. Want to give kind of we've made some changes along the way to save time and money. And the first slide we have was the original 235-foot length, which included removal of the 24-foot mid-body. We then went up to get to 245 length overall. We cut out we had intended to cut out a 14-foot section of mid-body, which is 10 feet shorter, thus getting to the 245-foot length. Next slide. So in our next slide, we originally we're going to go with a 245-foot with a 14-foot mid-body removed, but we found that because of some Coast Guard regulations, we were over a 200-foot length between perpendiculars, and we engineered this to a point where we took the 24-foot mid-body section out and extended the stern ramp by 10 feet, and this allowed us to remove 3 subdivision bulkheads to save time and money in the project. So we have the same platform at the end, with it's just that the rear deck is extended 10 feet. And so we just wanted to give an update, and having not to put in 10 transverse watertight bulkheads is is considered a great thing for us because it really it minimizes the amount of not just bulkheads, but doors and spacing between the bulkheads. So we just wanted to give everyone kind of an update of how we got there, but we're at the same platform, same amount of passengers, same amount of watertight bulkhead, same amount of cars and trucks. It's all identical. So just wanted to give any kind of a technical update of where we are in the project in relation to the cut. So this Wednesday, we'll begin cutting that section out and we'll be installing the subdivision bulkheads in the parallel mid-body. We'll be putting in the new fuel tanks, and the project is really going into a new phase. Next slide, please. So we started out at 13.7 million, and we've had per vessel for the conversion costs and 112,000 in change orders for each vessel. So we're at a total cost of 26.6 million for the two vessels. Anyone, any questions?
Yes, Rob.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. The stern extension, I assume you can park a car there, is that correct? So
Yes, it's the same. We've done a complete finite element analysis. It's just an extended ramp. It goes, we can park right out to the end where the gate is. I don't know if you can see in that
yeah,
drawing.
I mean, it looked like the bulwark ends where it normally ends, and the ramp has got either a lower bulwark or no bulwark at all. I just was curious about that. You know, can be wet back there.
Yeah, and we've got the extended bulwarks to 8 feet on both sides. So those are a little bit, that's the same as Sankaty and a little bit higher than the existing Katamer and Gayhead.
Okay.
Any, Nat?
Just a small question, Mark. Thank you for everything you're doing. This is great. Are we putting sponsons on like a little bit? Are we widening just a little on these boats? I believe we are, correct?
That is correct. We're widening 5 feet each side for a total of 10 feet. She'll have the same beam as the Woods Hole.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So
Thank you.
if
We'll go to
I
item.
may, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out, so back in Mark's presentation on how we've gone back and forth here on the length of the cut and what's being taken out. So part of this, when the contract was originally awarded, there was the option for a 14-foot cut. It was about $105,000 roughly to only make a 14-foot cut instead of the 24-foot cut. That option we originally were going to be, triggering, but now with this rework of the engineering drawings, we won't be having that. But in the meantime, the yard is going to be issuing a change order for the change on the stern, which is about $110,000. So it's that piece of it's going to be net of about $5,000 or so when it's all said and done. But just to make you aware, because we anticipate we'll probably have that change order in time for the board meeting in 2 weeks. So that'll be coming forward. But while there'll be a change order for the changing the cut size again, there'll actually be a credit coming back for that original option that was triggered. The other thing is that the hull length we end up with, that was what originally was done in terms of the speed test that we had conducted as well. So we're confident that we're back to where we were in terms of the ability for these vessels to maintain schedule.
Any other questions? Yes, Rob.
Yeah, Mark, Bob just said the magic word schedule. How are we doing schedule wise? And second is, are you happy with the yard?
Yeah, the yard is they have a tremendous crew down there. Schedule wise, we're on schedule. you know, we're in different elements have got faster, like the subdivision bulkheads are probably going to be completed 3 to 4 months early. The remaining, it's right now we're scheduled, we're pushing to get in the water earlier, although to have the same delivery date. We want to get in earlier for testing of propulsion engines, and, you know, we've basically unhooked every electrical wire in the boat for the separation, and we just want to get as much time for commissioning of all the equipment once, and we only can do that in the water. So I think right now I'm comfortable where we are, and I think we're in good position for next spring.
Any other questions? Thank you. Going to item number 4, MV Martha's Vineyard dry dock status.
Okay, Sean, if you could pull up that slide. So we have the MV is in Thames Shipyard in New London, Connecticut. We're coming around the final turn here to get her undocked in about a week or so. Next slide, please. Wanted to give kind of what we've found, kind of what we see in, you know, the shafting and the type of maintenance we do. Like, this is a condition found at the cutlass bearings after we drew the shafts back. You can see heavy scoring on the shafts, and we kind of wanted to use this as kind of a basis of what's expected, particularly on the Hyannis run. Next slide, please. So we drew the shafts out and we sent them down to Steinling and Sons down in New Jersey. So what we do to repair that area, we machine that shaft, and then what we do is a wire feed welder, and it builds up a weld along that area. Next slide. Then we go through and it machines it, and this is the end product, and we've just done NDing for any cracking in that area. But we do this whenever we get to a point where we're going to draw the shafts, and that's the type of damage that we see, and that's the repair on how that is a final element. The next step is we'll bring the shafts back to Thames and install them. So it's all expected when we get a certain level of, you know, age in the shafts as far as in clearances, but we'll see that damage very much so more in the Hyannis run than the Woods Hole to Martha's Vineyard run. Next slide. And while we have the shafts out, these are the cutlass bearings that we've renewed. As I mentioned last time, we're using the Thornton bearings in the Hyannis to Nantucket run, and we're going to see how both of them work out and what's the best selection going forward. Next slide. Other work we've done, the generator overhauls on the engines, new turbos, completely overhauled the auxiliary generator. Next. We've gone through for the bow thrusters and completely overhauled the bow thrusters on the Martha's Vineyard. Next. So the highlights, so hull coatings on the MV along with the bow thruster overhauls, main propulsion shafts and bearing replacements, and structural steel renewals and blasting coating of superstructure. And the financial snapshot, we've done very well in this contract. 1.24 million was the contract. We've have about 82,000 in credits thus far. We have some change orders coming in, but we're right on target for our coming in on time and budget for Martha's Vineyard. Any questions?
Questions from the board? Nat?
No, it's nice to see these intricate, real work stuff, details, instead of just, yeah, we got to fix this today. It's nice for everyone to see this, Mark. I appreciate the machining stuff and things like that. This is part of all the things you don't see. And I like that stuff. I didn't realize the bow door was a sideways door on the MV. It's
Yeah,
good. No maintenance.
that was changed during its midlife.
Midlife, was it, Bob? I forgot that. That's good. Good stuff. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mark, is some of that problem caused because of the sand, the scraping and Hyannis with the sand and stuff?
Well, that, the MV is specific to the Woods Hole Martha's Vineyard run. The bearing clearances were actually good, but we just did some further investigation and we just found the scoring really grooved in. It was like 20 thousandths, and that may not sound like a lot, but that'll rip the bearings up. So we took the time to draw the shafts, change the bearings out so we have a better bearing surface with a clean shaft. So we've got basically every 4 years on the Vineyard run, and unfortunately we don't get that same performance on the Hyannis to Nantucket run.
Thank you, Mark. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Going on to item B under the management report, 2024 reservation timeline.
I'd like to request that we defer this item till next month. At the board meeting last month, there was some questions raised, and we're still trying to sort out some of the Head Start issues. So.
Okay, thank you. Go to item C, the transportation agreement with the MV Regional High School District.
All right, so on this one, we'll be requesting a vote of the members to authorize the general manager to execute a renewal of the transportation agreement with the Martha's Vineyard Regional High School District for this school related travel. This is something that we do on an annual basis. Unlike Nantucket, which is one island, one town, the Vineyard has multiple towns, and so they need to have a cost established, so that way each town can include that in their budgets. So for this past year, this past school year, the fixed price was set at $35,000, but which was approximately 50% of what their previous usage had been. This most recent year, they're up at $88,000 in total travel costs. But since they were actually under the previous year, we're looking at just having an increase to $40,000. The school district also requested if it would be possible to do this on a 2-year basis as opposed to a 1-year basis. So we looked this over, and we weren't opposed to that. So we'd be recommending that the members vote to authorize the general manager to execute a new transportation agreement with the Martha's Vineyard Regional High School District for school-related approved travel for a fixed price of $40,000 per year for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2025. So they typically pay this in 10 monthly installments starting September through June. So, and again, this approximates the 50% discount that we provide in the Nantucket Public Schools.
Any questions?
Motion to approve?
Second? Thank you, Bud. Yep.
I do have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see him. Go ahead, Rob.
Yep. I'm certainly not opposed to the $40,000, but if I look back at the previous 10 years of data that you showed, it was either 100,000 or more for the cost of the service, unless I'm reading it wrong, up until COVID. And then it's been much lower and now working its way back up. So just for having our eyes wide open, I don't think $40,000 is actually 50% of the cost, if in fact history is more accurate than the last couple of years in terms of cost of service.
Yeah, and I think part of this was that there was a period of time there where the Vineyard schools had to switch conferences for their sports. And as part of that switch, they actually were trying to pick up some of the cost of those schools traveling to the island as well. So that factored into some of those earlier years travel numbers. They also now, they have more robust, they keep, 3 or 4 school buses at the Palmer Ave parking lots. That way, they don't need to be bringing over buses like they used to and things like that. But it's something that as we go forward, if there is an increase there, we would of course factor it into the next one. So.
Okay, just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Any other questions? I'll take a vote on that. Mr. Lowell,
Aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Hill, aye.
Mr. Brault,
All die.
Mr. Murnia,
Aye.
and Salito, aye. Thank you. We'll now go to any new or old business. Yes, John.
Hey, Mr. Chair, I have two issues I'd like to just bring up, and this is really for the Port Council members to, in the future, have an open conversation about. And let me just start off with the 2 issues. One is continuous complaints that we receive on Martha's Vineyard about empty boats. So I want to call that conversation we have with the Port Council members, a conversation about what can we do to understand what they all are concerned about when it comes to empty boats, or let's call it utilization. And the second one is, which is an important topic for Oak Bluffs, is the amount of diversions that are occurring from Oak Bluffs over to Vineyard Haven. And I'd just like to get our arms around and give a good solid explanation to our both business communities as to why that is occurring. How is it so different? Because it does feel different from years past. So I don't know how we can get those onto the agenda for our next meeting, or we can start the conversation today, but we would like to get those on the agenda.
Do you have any comment?
Consider that done.
I know one of the things that concerns me too is I know that Mark Rosen gave me for 2022, we had 380 diversions from Oak Bluffs, which seems an awful lot between the middle of May to the middle of October. Also, Sean, I know you probably wanted an Islanders talk.
Yep.
And I noticed they'll always have on there a picture of a boat with very few cars on it. One of the things would be nice to do is to find out from some of these people when they do it is what boat was it, which way was it coming, what date was it, what the time is, because if it's a 6 o'clock boat or 5:30 boat on a Wednesday morning when nobody's going off, of course there might be some space. Or if it's a 9:45 boat coming back on a Tuesday or something or other, of course there's going to be spaces. And I think sometimes the public gets a false impression of that there is space on the boat, which we're not allowing cars to come on.
Yeah, I try to flag those when I see them, Joe, to get more information, and a lot of times the people don't respond with that information, but I will continue to, whenever I see those pictures, it concerns me as well, and I want to track it down, and as we're able to, I pass it on to
the other one too, now that John has mentioned it, that I've had a problem sometimes because we're excursions. When you try to change your reservation or you want to get a reservation back because something happened, or you know that your appointment was made a little earlier, if we can't get the reservation back, even though it shows that there are open spaces on the boat because we're excursion, they don't allow us to make that reservation. Is that something that can be looked into?
Yeah, actually, I apologize. I don't recall where we ended up on that, but that was something that was identified as an issue, and they were working with the on the website and the reservation system programmer on that issue. So essentially, as you said, on the return portion of a trip, it wasn't looking at all the spaces. It was only looking at the preferred space. So
Yeah.
that's something that was being worked on, and I apologize. I don't recall whether that's been resolved yet or not.
I think you're
Another
right, Bob.
question. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, I think Bob's correct. I think I don't know if it was solved, but I know they were working on it.
Another question, do we have any agreements like with Mass Maritime Academy that we could take interns during the summertime to become deck officers, and maybe some sort of scholarship program that they would give us a couple of years once they graduate to become pilots or become captains on the boat? Has anybody
So-
thought about that?
Oh, yeah.
This summer, we had 5 cadets work for us this summer.
Excellent.
And as far as a scholarship, I was actually just saw last week that My Tags out in the West Coast is doing a scholarship program with Washington State. So I have that data, and that's something that we'll consider to model after. As far as talking about empty boats and utilization, I've talked to our developer. And one of the things that we have right now is a trip-by-trip report, where he said that's possible to do is to develop a report that would look at space over 8 days for all trips. And eventually what we would move to after getting this report and going through it, would hopefully be to do that on a basis where it would be done automatically.
I remember somewhere along the line, we talked about space allocation. In other words, you figure how big trucks are, how big cars are. Is there anything new on that?
Yeah, I think we'll put together a package for next month's Port Council meeting, but you know, it's you know, in terms of how the allocations work and the borrow downs, and whether a trip has been flagged as being hazardous, or whether it's a freight boat because of the draft issues and things like that. You know, it's a kind of complicated, and you throw in on the Vineyard route the governor, and that can be anywhere from, you know, depending upon the truckload, and you know, there could be a wide swing in the number of spaces that we can travel on one. So I know we're already putting together what the space utilization has been for this summer, and we're comparing it against the previous couple years to see you know, where we can improve in that area. And I think we should be in a position to present something to the Port Council and the board at the November meetings.
Okay, thank you. And yes, John.
I just want to say, Mr. Chair, if it's all right with you, Bob, I'll reach out to you and to Mark just to go over some of the issues that we're hearing on the island prior to that meeting in November, so we're well prepared.
No, always available.
Okay, Rob.
Yeah, I guess this probably falls under old news, but has there been any conclusion to the looking into the cause of the Sankaty breaking loose and coming across to the Woods Hole dock?
Yeah, I think we had provided that to, and I apologize, I don't remember whether we did a follow-up with the Port Council at the time, but you know, at the time, the procedure, there's a combination of things. One, the vessel was secured with what amounted to 5 lines, so we made changes that it needs to be secured with 6. The procedures in terms of verification of how those lines are then how those lines are secured, and I don't think there's anything else.
Oh, the secured on the ball,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah. So, but part of it being is that at the time there was only 5 lines on that boat instead of the customary 6 that would be used to tie the vessel up at the end of the day.
Was there any conclusion as to how those lines came off?
Well, it was a training issue. We've updated our training materials for both of our shoreside personnel and marine side in terms of you know, how those lines is to be placed around the bollards and how they're supposed to be tied up to the cleats to make sure that they're you know, they don't you know, cause to prevent the vessels from drifting away the way that one did.
Any other questions on that issue? thank you. Any other old or new business to bring up? Public comment? Any hand raised, Sean?
Yeah, I know Mr. Malcolm has his hand raised, but because there's a quorum of the board, either remote or in person, I don't think we could take his question or comment.
No one else then.
No one else.
All right, thank you. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Lowell,
aye.
Mr. Cahill,
Yeah, he'll lie.
Mr. Brault,
We all die.
Mr. Murnia,
Aye.
Solito, aye. Mr. Cahill, you can make your meeting.
Yes, thank you. Good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.